I call to order this regular meeting of the Township Committee of the Township of Morris this Wednesday, July 15th, 2026. The time is now 7 p.m. This meeting is being held in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, and adequate notice of this meeting has been provided as required by law. Specifically, notice of this meeting was emailed to the Daily Record and the Morris Newsbee on January 8th, 2026, and posted on the Township of Morris website. The agenda and resolutions for this meeting are available on morristwp.com under the Agenda Center. Certain portions of this meeting may be closed to the public for the purpose of personnel and/or other matters as outlined in the Sunshine Law. Notice to the members of the governing body and township staff: any use of electronic devices during this meeting shall be used solely for the purpose of township business, and any communications are subject to the Open Public Records Act. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Mr. Grayzel.
Here.
Mr. Jonnada.
Here.
Mr. Ravitz.
Here.
Ms. Rothman.
Here.
Mayor Guariglia.
Here. Would you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have the approval of the minutes. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes of March 18th, 2026, the regular and closed session meetings?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Now can I have a motion to approve the minutes of April 13th, 2026, the special meeting, regular meeting, and closed sessions? Ms. Rothman will abstain as she was absent during this meeting.
So moved. Second.
Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Mr. Ravitz.
Yes.
Mr. Jonnada.
Yes.
Mr. Grayzel.
Yes.
Ms. Rothman, abstain. Mayor Guariglia.
Yes. We have one proclamation on our agenda this evening. We're celebrating the 250th anniversary of the United States, so the township I'd like to read the proclamation into the record. Celebrating the 250th anniversary of the United States of America. Whereas on July 4th, 1776, the Declaration of Independence established the United States of America upon the enduring principles of liberty, equality, representative government, and the unalienable rights of all people. And whereas the year 2026 marks the 250th anniversary of our nation's founding, providing an opportunity to reflect on our shared history, honor those who secured our independence, and celebrate the democratic ideals that continue to unite our nation. And whereas Morris Township proudly holds a distinguished place in American history as the home of Jockey Hollow, where approximately 10,000 Continental Army soldiers endured the difficult winter encampment of 1779 to 1780 under the leadership of General George Washington, demonstrating extraordinary perseverance and commitment to the cause of liberty. And whereas the residents and farmers of Morris Township contributed to the success of the Revolutionary War by providing food, firewood, livestock, shelter, and other essential support to the Continental Army during one of the most challenging periods of the war. And whereas the preservation of Jockey Hollow and other historic resources within Morris Township serve as a lasting reminder of our community's vital role in the birth of our nation, and provides future generations with an opportunity to learn from and appreciate this remarkable chapter in American history. And whereas the Township of Morris proudly joins throughout the United States in commemorating America's 250th anniversary by honoring our nation's past, celebrating our shared heritage, and renewing our commitment to the principles of freedom, democracy, civic responsibility, and service to others. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Township Committee of the Township of Morris, County of Morris, State of New Jersey, that we hereby recognize and celebrate the 250th anniversary of the United States of America, and encourage all residents to commemorate this historic milestone by learning about our local revolutionary history. participating in community events, preserving our historic resources, and embracing the ideals of liberty, unity, and civic engagement that have guided our nation for 2.5 centuries. Be it further proclaimed that the Township Committee extends its gratitude to the generations of Americans whose courage, sacrifice, and dedication have strengthened our nation and recognizes Morris Township's proud contribution to the founding and continued success of the United States of America. Any comments? Deputy Mayor?
I'll second that.
Yes, I'd like to have a copy of that resolution if we can get
It's,
Sure, yep, should be in
distribution.
your packet,
Yeah.
but absolutely.
I
I'll
mean,
give you a nice pretty one.
thank you. I'll talk more about that in my.
In your
yeah,
comments.
I think we're all
comments.
going to talk a little bit about it.
Okay, for sure. All right, thank you. Okay, so we have our first public commentary. There are currently 4 members of the public joining us via Zoom and 4 members in person. At this time, we will open the meeting for public comment. We'll begin with comments from those who are here in person first, followed by participants joining by Zoom. If you're participating by Zoom, please use your raise the hand. And if you would like, wait a minute, what did I do here? The raise the hand feature. Before speaking, please state your name and whether you are a resident or not. For the record, comments are limited to 5 minutes. If you have questions and would like a response, any remaining time will be used for that purpose. Is there a motion to open public comment?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Is there anyone here in person?
Good evening, Charlie Schachter, 10 Raleigh Court. So this is the 8th consecutive township meeting that I've attended to raise concerns about gas leaf blowers. No one on the committee seems to disagree with the fact that the noise and air pollution generated by gas leaf blowers pose multiple hazards to human health. These machines are also an ecological disaster, leading to water pollution, wildlife disruption, and the destruction of ecosystems. All summer long this year, I've watched landscaping crews use gas leaf blowers on hard surfaces like driveways and streets. They blast dust and debris into the air, and I have never seen anyone collect this material afterward. It is simply shifted from one resident's curb to another. And I don't see how that is fair to the resident whose curb it is shifted to. In reality, these hazardous machines are completely unnecessary for the 9 months of the year when leaves are not falling. Furthermore, safer alternatives are readily available, leaving no justification for their continued use during these summer months. During a few hours at the Grow It Green farm stand last week, I spoke with people about the Quiet Summer Initiative. While residents from Madison and Chatham, of who there were only a few that I spoke to, were familiar with it, none of the Morris Township's residents I encountered had any idea it existed, despite it being established right here. This surprised me. This clearly indicates that we must do a better job of sharing information about the Quiet Summer with our community. And I have the following 4 suggestions. 1, I hope that a dedicated, prominent section in the Municipal Messenger could be published with this information. It has currently been, the last 2 months has been buried in the section about the Environmental Commission itself, which is at the very end of that communication. And I fear that most people simply miss it. Again, it's one line, it's buried at the end, there's no accompanying graphic. And I just fear that most people miss it. I think the Municipal Messenger would be the most effective way to get it out. 2, I would hope that this initiative could be added to the newsflash section of the Township website. I think it's perfectly appropriate to go there. It seems to fit in with other newsflash items, and that would, again, disseminate the information more broadly. 3, I would love it if the health department could get involved in this by incorporating it in their regular newsletter. Again, it is very much a human health issue. And then fourth, I still hope that possibly there could be some display of information about this initiative on the electronic signage by street or pool. As we all know, tens of thousands of cars travel past that sign every day on Sussex Avenue. I drive by it multiple times a day often, and I think that would be perfectly appropriate as well. So while I appreciate very much the committee's backing of the Quiet Summer Initiative, its success depends on significantly increasing public awareness of it. And I think that that is something that we can do. Additionally, I am prepared to look into grant opportunities to help the township transition its current gas leaf blowers to comparable electric models. However, to start this process and this research, I first need an accurate count of the equipment currently owned and operated by the township. Given that this data should be straightforward to compile and that I've been asking it for it since the May meeting, I hope to receive those figures shortly. And once again, I thank you for your time and consideration. And if you have any questions for me, please feel free.
Any questions?
I do have a question for Mr. Cantor, actually, or Mr. Quinn. I'm always been curious if a neighbor blows leaves onto another neighbor's property, one property to another, is that covered in our code, and what does it say?
I could look at it. I could try it. I wouldn't think. I would think it would fall under like. Generally, you can't litter on other people's properties, but I don't know about leaf blowing specifically.
Never gotten a complaint on it, Jeff.
I'm just curious if it was covered in the code. That's all.
I think there would have to be some reasonableness. Obviously, when you're doing your lawn, some stuff may go onto your neighbor's lawn. But I think if it was excessive, I think it would fall under probably another ordinance or a criminal statute. But I'm unaware of anything in our code that relates to that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody else here in person?
Good evening. My name is Steve Laris, 20 Oak Park Drive, Morris Township. I've been here for 29 years. I originally came here tonight to really thank Tim Quinn and the mayor for what's gone on in this township the past couple days. The township was amazing, cutting people's trees that had fallen on their electric lines, and even when they came to pick up the rubbish that the debris, they came with the right equipment. They came with a bulldozer that kind of grabbed everything together. They came with a big dumpster on a truck to put everything in. It was really amazing. And honestly, Tim, I was really impressed. So thank you very much, and tell everybody in the town, if you can, that it's really appreciated. The last thing I wanted to mention to you is I was one of the few people that went to the Ford Mansion to hear the Declaration of Independence on July 4th. It was amazing. It was probably more pertinent to this time in this country, in this township, in this county than ever before. And it's a teaching moment for me, 65 years old, because it was about freedom. It was about freedom to do the things that you want on your land. And unfortunately, a lot of what you say, and I really appreciate your effort here, but it's my property. I own it. Okay. I've been blowing leaves on my property for 29 years. And the one thing that I've never gotten is a complaint by any of our neighbors. Not one time has anybody said, please don't blow the leaves right now. If there's a barbecue or a party, I don't do anything like that at all. And we've never had a problem on our block. The problem that we have on Oak Park Drive in the Morris Township is kids don't come outside. They're inside watching TV. They're inside playing with their games. And if you want to do something, and I'm going to say this, it's an invasion, okay, when we have these illegal immigrants that come to rake our leaves, cut our grass, okay? They are not paid a fair wage. They have no insurance. They sleep in Morristown, 6 people to a bedroom. If you want to do something about the noise, you want to promote families, people playing ball with their kids out in the street on a Saturday and a Sunday, then ban commercial landscaping on Saturday in the township. I know you've banned it on Sunday, ban it on Saturday too. Let's make weekends available for families and for kids. These commercial landscapers have 5 days a week to do their business. They don't need to do it. We don't need to wake up at 7:30 in the morning on a Saturday to hear leaf blowing. The other thing that I wanted to mention to you is maybe it's time for the town to think about a Twitter account to talk with the township residents about things like this meeting, about things, power lines that are down, about other events in the town. We don't have one. I mean, I sat here, I got a tweet from the Morristown Police Department. Maybe it's time that we start to get a little bit more aggressive. I know Jeff does a great job with his email service. He gives a lot of information to me and everybody else. Maybe we need to expand that. And then the last thing that I want to mention is this is a beautiful town. It's a wonderful town. You guys give your own time, which is amazing, to keep this town the way it is. I was very disturbed about what happened in Morristown a couple days ago with this Cess Levy robbery, where 5 individuals came in masks and gloves. And I've talked to this about Tim in the past, that I really believe that crime is coming out of the inner city and coming to towns like ours. I'm not going to say these people were professionals, but boy, they did a pretty good job in a short period of time. And I think we got to think about this. This is the first time that we've seen this in our area. I think it's not going to be the last, and I think it's going to expand. And I think we need to, and I've talked to you guys about this in the past, maybe once a quarter, have the chief come up to answer questions from the residents about crime in the town. Not as an attack on the police chief, because you guys are great, but just to talk about, discuss it openly on what's going on within the town. And that's it, Tim, Mayor, thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. You guys did an amazing job the past couple days.
Tom
Thank you.
Meshman from our DPW coordinated all that.
It was amazing.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Mr.
We love the positive feedback.
We really do appreciate it. Of course, we've got a lot of it, and I know in our commentary remarks at the end, a lot of appreciation will be shown to not only our DPW, but all our first responders, everybody, the township, police, fire, and everybody jumped in and did an incredible job, and even our relationships beyond right here in the township. We were served very well. And I think that has a lot to do with who the township is, who are the people who help run it, and especially all of the township employees and all the departments that add to that. So it's very much appreciated. Thank you. Anyone else here in person? If not, I see no hands raised. So can I please then have a motion to close public comment?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ordinance for public hearing and adoption. This evening, we have 2 ordinances scheduled for public hearing and adoption. Ordinance number 26-26 was tabled and carried from the June 17th, 2026 meeting because the agreement had not yet been fully executed, and therefore the ordinance could not be adopted. Mr. Quinn, can you just give us an update on where we are with that ordinance?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I am going to again ask for a continuance to the August 19th meeting. I'm still waiting for the signed contract agreement from the FMBA. Unfortunately, I do not have that as yet. So I would request that you carry this ordinance to the August meeting.
Thank you. Based on that explanation, I will entertain a motion to table ordinance 26-26 and carry it to the August 19th Township Committee
So
meeting.
moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Ravitz?
Yes.
Mr. Jonnada?
Yes.
Mr. Grayzel?
Yes.
Ms. Rothman?
Yes.
Mayor Griglia?
Yes. The public hearing and final consideration and adoption of ordinance number 26-26 will be held on Wednesday, August 17th, 2026 at 7 p.m. in the Municipal Building, 50 Woodland Avenue. As for ordinance 27-26, an ordinance of the Township of Morris County, New Jersey, establishing salaries and compensation for employees of the Firefighters Association, FMBA Local 270 of the Township of Morris. I understand an amendment is required as well. Mr. Quinn, would you please explain?
Yes, Mayor, we did reach agreement with the fire superior officers when we reached the agreement that called for the contract of 3% raises, which were the same as all of other municipal employees. During our contract negotiations, we also discussed with the Fire Superior Officers Association about doing a trial schedule, which put them on what they call a 24/72 schedule, where fire superior officers currently get holidays off. They would no longer get the holidays off unless it fell on their regularly scheduled day off. It does require a minor change in compensation. So for that ordinance, which is based on the 40-hour work week, we have now put in a section that deals with the 24/72 schedule as a secondary compensation with those officers if we do go to the trial schedule as to how they will be compensated. So I'm asking for that amendment and then have the public hearing and adoption at the August 19th meeting.
Thank you. Based on that explanation, rather than opening the public hearing on this ordinance, I will entertain a motion to amend and reintroduce the ordinance with the public hearing on the amended ordinance to be held on August 19th, 2026. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion by the Township Committee? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Ravitz.
Yes.
Mr. Jonnada.
Yes.
Mr. Grayzel.
Yes.
Ms. Rothman.
Yes.
Mayor Guariglia.
Yes. The public hearing and final consideration and adoption of ordinance number 27-26 will be held on Wednesday, August 19th, 2026 at 7 p.m. in the Municipal Building, 50 Woodland Avenue. As far as our resolutions, we have 11 on tonight's agenda. May I have a motion to approve resolution numbers 150-26 through 161-26 by one motion?
So moved.
Second.
May I have a roll call vote, please?
Ms. Rothman.
Yes.
Mr. Jonnada.
Yes.
Mr. Grayzel.
Yes.
Mr. Ravitz.
Yes.
Mayor Guariglia.
Yes. We have 2 items on the consent calendar this evening. Can I have a motion to approve the items on the consent calendar by one motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Consideration of monthly reports. The following reports are on file in the office of the Township Clerk and the Township Administrator. The May 2026 Fire and Police, the June 2026 Tax Collector, and the Morris Township Library. Can I have a motion to approve the monthly reports?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Claims for payment, list of bills and vouchers. The total amount of bills and vouchers for this meeting is $11,174,165.74. We are also the tax collector for the school district, the library, and the county. May I have a motion to approve the list of bills and vouchers?
So moved.
Second.
May I have a roll call vote?
Mr. Jonnada.
Yes.
Mr. Grayzel.
Yes.
Mr. Ravitz.
Yes.
Ms. Rothman.
Yes.
Mayor Guariglia.
Yes. Received for the record, we have one item, a letter of registration from Joshua Sachs.
Resignation.
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 Oh. What did I say? Registration. We have one item, a letter of resignation from Joshua Sachs from the Swim Pool Advisory Committee. And we thank Mr. Sachs for all of his work and wish him well. They're actually moving out of the state. At this time, we'll do the standing committee reports, and general commentary will be provided by each township committee member. Committeewoman Rothman.
Thank you. So I just wanted to give a quick update about some things. First, I wanted to talk about the storm response. So I totally echo the words of Steve. This is my first time being on the committee going through a major event like this, and I was proud to be a part of this team. I thought the professionalism, particularly that Mr. Quinn and the DPW handled this situation right away, getting roads open so that first responders could get through. I did have a meeting up at the County College of Morris with JCP&L staff there and the governor. And when our representative from JCP&L, I said, are you from Morris Township? And they said, yes. And he right away said, your DPW has been so wonderful at helping us where we've needed help. So kudos to all of our staff, and also just an acknowledgement that it was their holiday too. So a lot of them miss time with their family and friends, and we're just very grateful. We continue to get calls coming in, just following up about debris removal. DPW has been very responsive, and residents have been grateful. So along those lines, one of the things I did want to mention was just reminding homeowners that the trees on their property are similar to the batteries in your smoke detector or the gutters on your roof. They need regular attention and regular maintenance. So please use professional services. And then also too, when these storms do happen, unfortunately, and we have not gotten any reports of this, but I want to make people aware that there will be the random people with chainsaws offering to help clean your property. Please use licensed and insured people for your safety and for theirs as well. Also too, one of the things, circling back to trees is that one of my priorities is also working toward having systematic management plan in place for municipal trees. So that is something that I'll continue to work on, and that is clearly of interest to me. I also wanted to reach out and say thank you to Chief Nunn. He gave me a wonderful tour of all of our firehouses and all of our equipment. So it was a real educational experience. So I thank him for that. I'd like to also give an update on Normandy Park Bridge. So for those of you who don't know, the bridge was built in 1914. That intersection used to be a very dangerous intersection, apparently. It was a blind turn with Madison Avenue, Washington Avenue, and a bend in the tracks there. And when they constructed the bridge, they also actually changed the pattern of the train. They changed Madison Avenue and they changed Washington Avenue. So it's a very historic location, and the bridge obviously received significant damage from a car crash about a year ago. So people have been asking, when is this repair going to take place? And so we have been in contact back and forth with New Jersey Transit. We do have a letter from NJ Transit that we are still working on the details of for them to make the repair. And we're hoping that that work will start in August. Nothing is set in stone or concrete as the bridge is, but we have made progress, so there's hope. So I wanted to give an update on that. And lastly, I was able to also attend the beautiful reading of the Declaration of Independence at Ford Mansion. And Steve is right. It was a really wonderful event, especially seeing so many people come out in the heat right after a storm and just spending time together enjoying the history and the people who were in costume. It was really beautiful. It's the first time I've actually been to that event. So come next year because it was great. And that's all. So thank you.
Thank you, Committeewoman Rothman. And I just want to say to Mr. Larish, your point about in the future, whether having some kind of a bigger social media presence in when there's these types of storms or important information to get out, we're continually working on how to do that better. However, it should be clear that the information does have to make sure that we put out as the township is completely accurate. Now on social media, people can jump in but I do also want to commend Ms. Rothman because she did personally get on social media and she was giving updates to and accurate updates too. She was attending the meetings. So it was nice to see that. And I think we all agree and know that's something we're continually working on to get information out there every way possible. And I do think in the future we'll see more of that. And I noticed also around many of the other towns for the first time, they too were jumping in and doing live takes of being different places. And again, I just caution that it does have to be accurate information and make sure that we're putting things out so we don't have residents that get confused or are hearing two different, whether it's when their power's going back on or when DPW might get to them or whatever. We just want it to be accurate. So really appreciate that though. Committeeman Grayzel.
Thank you. Thanks to the public for coming out. Thank you guys for your questions and your comments. And I too want to thank the Morris Township employees for their response to the storm. It was incredible. I drove back actually Friday night after having dinner with my parents in Englewood to my house, and I arrived about 10 o'clock after the storm had come through, and there were trees down everywhere. I couldn't even get to my house without driving a very, very circuitous way. But along the way, I saw multiple police out tending to the issues, firefighters out tending to the issues. And the response from the municipality was just tremendous. The next day, there were guys clearing a tree on my street that had come down. I also had a tree down on my property. But those guys had worked the night before and had come in the morning and were working another shift on July 4th. So the response from the municipal employees was really above and beyond. And they were out there. They were enthusiastic for getting things cleaned up, and their spirit was high, and it was truly amazing. So thank you for Tom Eschman, who led the charge at DPW. Thank you for all our department heads who were involved. We had health department involved to look after the elderly and the sick. We had building inspectors who came in on July 4th to inspect homes that had been damaged. The dedication of the municipal employees was just unbelievable, quite frankly. And I do want to give special kudos to Mr. Quinn, who's sitting here. I know he likes to give credit to all his department heads, and they deserve a lot of credit. But he's like the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain. He's working magic on his computer and his phone, coordinating things behind the scenes. You don't see him out there, although when I was driving home, I called him and reported incidents, and Tim was out in his car on July 3rd that night as well, surveying the damage in the township. So Tim, really kudos to you. Tremendous job. Goes unnoticed often, the things you do behind the scenes, but you deserve a lot of credit. I know you don't like getting credit, but you really deserve it this time. So thank you. And thanks again to all the township employees. I am the proud chairman of the standing committee for the police department here in Morris Township. We have chair people of oversight for all the departments we have here in Morris Township, and I am proud to always do that for the police department. I'm very supportive of all the work they do. There was an item on the agenda tonight that I just wanted to inform the public of. We have an allocation of money towards tasers, and people have asked me if we're buying new tasers, if this is new to Morris Township, and want to let you know that we have a very progressive police department here. We're always looking for new methods and ways of policing better, and the tasers were deemed to be a method of policing that we were able to use less force. Right? When you pull out a gun, it's deadly force every time you pull out a gun, and may have to use it. And the taser gives the police officers an option to pull out a taser and use less deadly force when it's not, when it's deemed to be not needed to pull out an actual gun. So it's a great piece of equipment to have in their armory. And what we had on the agenda tonight was just replacing the 10 tasers that we have currently in our police department, upgrading the equipment, bringing it up to today's standards. I won't go into all the details of what went into that, but I just want everybody to know these are not new tasers. We're just replacing the tasers that we have, so our police department can do their job as effectively as possible, and they do a great job. Also related to the police department, we have an annual Tri-Morris Junior Police Academy, which is a 2-week summer camp co-sponsored by the police departments of Morris Township, Morristown, and Morris Plains. And the program offers local 6th, 7th, and 8th graders an inside look at the criminal justice field through hands-on training and physical fitness, emergency first aid, defensive tactics, and crowd control. And it's a really, really wonderful program that exposes our kids to what it's like to be a first responder. And just a note for something that happened this year, that the kids Northern New Jersey, the Safe Kids Northern New Jersey had the chance to provide injury prevention education and stop the bleed training at the Tri-Town Junior Police Academy. So I just wanted to thank them for coming out and helping with the program and helping the future leaders of our town with the skills that they can use to stay safe and respond to an emergency themselves. A number of people have mentioned the reading of the Declaration of Independence. It's something I have done numerous times with my children. I've probably been there at least 10, 12 times over the years. It's something I try to arrange my schedule around because I love it so much. So glad you got to experience it for the first time. And Steve, thanks for going out. I got there at the very end. A usual 12 to 15 minute drive took me 50 minutes, 50, because I couldn't get down around the trees that were still down everywhere I was in the western end of town. So I got there at the end. So sorry I didn't see you guys there, but I made my best effort to attend again. It is a wonderful event, and everybody who hasn't experienced it should experience it. And I had one more thing to talk about, but I can't remember. So I'll just turn it back to you. Thanks so much, Mayor.
Thank you. Committeeman Ravitz.
Thank you, Mayor. As you often say, by the time it gets to you,
Right.
everything has been said. So, boy, I don't have a lot left. I want to echo certainly what my colleague, Mr. Grayzel, has said. It absolutely, he said it so well. Our DPW did a phenomenal job, Tom Eshman, every one of our township employees. I mean, the circumstances were, for this storm, was just an extraordinary, freaky thing. And of course, to happen on the July 4th weekend kind of put a damper on, festivities. But I just want you to know that the Township Committee was in constant contact, even though we were all kind of spread out to our different, where we were celebrating the 4th of July, but we were in constant contact. And one of the things, and I think the mayor mentioned this, and I want to reiterate it. No, I want to iterate it. I don't like the word reiterate. Is the fact that official news and about the township and events on the township, really the first place any resident should look is the township website or the Township Municipal Messenger or the township official social media pages. I know a lot of people mean well when they're posting things, but one of the things that before we post anything gets posted, it's vetted through the Township Committee. So we know the language that's going out. We understand that it's going out with the proper context. We also appreciate that residents certainly share township news and events on their own website, which is, what a number of us do. But in terms of official business, no candidate, no committee member, nobody, no resident has official information unless it's shared from an official source. So I really want to make that clear because there was misinformation out there and stuff that wasn't in the proper context. So there are times when, we get scooped, but when it comes through the township, it's official. Regarding the celebration, the July 4th, I hope everybody had a good July 4th. I know with the storm and all, it was difficult for a lot of people. Personally, we were unscathed in my home, but just a block or two over, these microburst storms, hit 80-mile-an-hour winds, and a lot of tall trees came down. Unfortunately, they came down on people's homes, driveways, power lines, roadways, and this goes back to the fact that all our township people, the first responders, Tom Eshman's DPW, your township committee, we were all over this, and we were getting news out as fast as we could. And we appreciate, Steve, what you were saying, the feedback you get. It's nice to get positive feedback from the residents that, we do a good job, and we always love hearing that. And I want to just thank you for saying those words too. Regarding the Declaration of Independence, it is worth reading. I know it's hard to read in its original form, but you can see it online. There are 27 grievances listed in the Declaration of Independence, and I do urge for all those folks who, who consider themselves patriots or good Americans to understand what those grievances were and how it relates to events that are going on in the country today. So I do urge people to go ahead and read that. Couple other things. The mayor and I serve on the, master plan steering committee. Make sure that your voice is heard, respond to surveys, any input, because this is your town, and for the next 10 years after we adopt the newest master plan next year, this is going to be our guidebook. So make sure that your voice is heard and your input is received. And lastly, before I turn it back over to the mayor, we are starting to plan our 25th commemoration of 9/11, which is coming up on either the 10th, 9/10, or 9/9. Stay tuned for details. We are going to release the details of the where and when. We're going to plant a tree in commemoration. This will likely be the last commemoration as people who were alive back then, they begin to age, and the people that were born after 9/11, it doesn't have the same significance. And you can think back to, Pearl Harbor, the Kennedy assassination, Martin Luther King, all these major milestone events that happen. It becomes less and less meaningful to each succeeding generation. So this may be the last one. It'll be 9/10 or 9/11, and it'll be most likely across the street. So stay tuned for details. And I think that's all I had. Mayor?
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Jonnada.
Thank you, Mayor. Again, I want to echo everybody's thanks for the extraordinary efforts from Morris Township personnel in the aftermath of the recent storm, in particular DPW and the first responders, as well as the JCP&L crew, and those who came from out of state that helped repair the down power lines. And as one of the residents that was without power for nearly a week, this is proof that township elected officials do not get special service. Yay me. And we're now, so I'm very thankful. I remember the lineman zapping the power with the hot stick, and lo and behold, we got power. And we're also, the World Cup is coming into its final days. And I wish to thank the Brazilian national team for using the Red Bulls training facility located here. We hope they enjoyed their accommodations, even though they were eliminated in the round of 32. And best wishes for the teams in the finals, Spain and Argentina. If you're not lucky to have the tickets, join a local watch party. And Transportation Advisory Committee, our next Morris Township in Motion event will be this Saturday on July 18th at 10 a.m. Rain date is Sunday, July 19th. It'll be beginning at the Jean Street Community Center site with a walk around the neighborhood. As an incentive, the health department has a tick removal kit to give away. If you want to join, just sign up at the TAC website, and you can get your free tick removal kit. Also on the TAC website is the Bike, Walk, and Roll Mobility Survey, so be sure to fill that out when you get the chance. And in the Environmental Commission, last Saturday, members of the EC and I went to Summit to see their tiny forest near their community center. It's situated on a quarter-acre lot. The tiny forest began 5 years ago and is thriving. They have an 8-foot-high wire fence to keep away the deer. And during the downpour when we went, it had a rainforest effect. And when talking to people there, our walk also gave them ideas. So maybe we'll see something in the future. Also, I want to acknowledge the tragic situation that occurred at the pond in Jones Woods. Our condolences to the family of the young man. And thanks once again to our local first responders, as well as those from Morris County. This was heartbreaking for me personally, since this tragedy happened in my own neighborhood. And it did help put a damper on the festive weekend. Again, many celebrated the 250th anniversary. So in spite of everything else, we did find ways to celebrate. And although locally we were tempered by the recent storm and everything, invariably when such events take place, those of us of a certain age can remember of this celebration of the bicentennial back in 1976. If you recall, that time was a time of contentious events as well, such as the Vietnam War, assassinations, and Watergate. So the multi-year celebrations that followed were a happy catharsis for many of us. Personally, I remember a huge parade in Morristown, as well as fireworks at the high school. If you visited any of the National Historic Parks at that time or later, many of those facilities date back to this time period, including Jockey Hollow. Although one member of my family was a citizen at that time, my brother through birthright citizenship, my family felt proud of being in this country because we first lived in Philadelphia before moving to the military capital of the Revolution. So the spirit of '76 pervaded our home. Being young, I enjoyed collecting such memorabilia as I could, and I found a few magazines that are still in my possession. This was a Time magazine issue from 1976, and it was written in a "You Are There" format, saying as if it was published in 1776. It includes a women's section which quotes Abigail Adams' quote on "Remember the Ladies." So if anybody wants to borrow, however musty it is. Also, I found this, the great ships. If you remember Op Sail 76. Yep, and I got this little brochure there, and this picture here is the Italian ship Amerigo Vespucci. And because I remembered that, I wanted to see them myself, so I took I missed the reading of the Declaration of Independence, which I usually go to, but I did go to the Hudson River with my kids in the hot weather, and we saw the sail ships go by, and including the Amerigo Vespucci, and that was called Sail Forth 250. So, and it just brought back memories. I remember talking to somebody who was also remembered from the bicentennial time, and he saw that personally, and it was a very memorable time for me. If you know our Facebook friends of mine, you saw me share the pictures, and just that we all had different ways of commemorating the time, but this was something very memorable for everybody who witnessed it. I know people saw it on TV, but just to see those ships sailing in person was very moving. And so, although we went back to the problems and the tragedies that awaited us, we did enjoy that brief respite of celebration. Back to you, Mayor.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. And again, we always appreciate your historical take on everything, and love the fact that you have been so good as a father with your kids and bringing them to so many different events and teaching them all about so many historical things.
This is my wheelhouse.
What?
This is my wheelhouse.
Yes, exactly. So again, I would be remiss if I did not. So I too am going to thank Superintendent Tom Eschman and the DPW crew, as well as OEM, our police and fire departments, all the first responders who did such an excellent job. I stopped in to see Tom, and it's so funny. He's just like Mr. Quinn. They kind of sit back. They're very humble. They never want to take credit. And I said, yeah, but your guys did such a good job. And his response is always, that is our job. And that's why we get out there and do it. So can't say enough about how great they are. I also want to thank Bob Flynn from JCP&L, who was very responsive. The township actually did have a very high number of outages. So again, due to the relationships that are built by the very people within the town hall here and on the committee, we have relationships that we can reach out and get to people and can get answers and can get things done in the township. So we really appreciate that. Same with the Governor's Disaster Recovery Office and the Governor's Policy Team for doing all the outreach they did to all the local municipalities. We had calls from JCP&L. We had mayor's calls with the governor's office. They did an excellent job. And the great thing about that is they too continue to take suggestions and information from us on what we thought they could possibly do better. So taking all that information and the suggestions will make us and everybody even more prepared for continued storms of this nature, which we are going to have. Sadly, this is probably not going to get better in the near future, and we're going to have to be more responsive. So we too are having those discussions and looking at what is that protocol? How do we make it even better so we get to people as quickly as possible? I also want to thank our health department and the sewer department. I think many of you, not everybody knew immediately, but we have two sewer centers here in the township, and when they have to go on generators, we are very concerned and want to make sure we can get them back online as soon as possible. So again, nothing but dedication on the part of everybody involved to be there and make sure that we can get things so that we didn't have that type of mishap on top of the other damage and things that occurred in the township. A couple notes about the master plan. The Economic Development Advisory Committee met last night. They actually went through their process with the planners. We're going through all the different advisory committees. The public has received the survey. So again, please fill it out. You have plenty of time. This is an ongoing process, but there are going to be many opportunities. And please, we need that feedback so that we can move forward with all of your input. So I'm going to conclude with, this summer has had its challenges already, which the township has met head on. We continue to see our community spirit through residents helping out in so many ways, which was really special during this storm. Neighbors helping neighbors, elderly people having neighbors next door come over and try to make sure that they weren't upset as they waited a little bit to get some help there. We continue to work on solutions that prioritize the well-being of our residents. It is due to your dedication and support that we continue to become even stronger and more resilient. So truly, we want to thank the residents as well, because that's what makes everything come together, and appreciate how we're going to do that going forward. I do want to say last month I ended with the quote about, everything magical happens between June and September. And I thought, well, not a lot of magical stuff was going on at the beginning of July. So let's all just hope that gets better as we go on. With that being said, we'll open up our second public commentary. There are currently 5 attendees joining us on Zoom and 4 here in person. We will begin with the comments from those here in person first, then we'll go to Zoom. Please raise your hand if you would like to participate. Before speaking, please state your name, whether or not you are a resident. For the record, comments are limited to 5 minutes. If you have questions and would like a response, any remaining time will be yielded back to you for that purpose. Is there a motion to open public comment?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Charlie?
I'm back. So Charlie Schachter, 10 Raleigh Court. I do not want my singular focus on the gas leaf blower issue to give you the impression that I am also not extremely grateful for the township's response to the emergency that happened over the 4th of July weekend. I live in the Butterworth section of town. Although my property did not experience any dramatic damage, there was some very dramatic damage throughout the neighborhood. And I take daily walks and saw the work of the DPW firsthand, and it was extraordinary. I also want to mention that a few years ago, I did sign up for the police department's advisories, which come across an email from me. Those are quite excellent and really, often about road closures, but also often about issues like this. And I find them to be most helpful, and I would urge everyone in the township to sign up similarly. Again, thank you for your hard work, and thank you, Administrator Quinn, and thank you to all the township professionals for your incredible response to what was an extraordinary natural event.
Thank you. Mr. Quillen?
Hi, George Quillen, 9 Barberry Road. I'm always afraid I'm going to say the wrong address for myself and give my the address where I used to live. So I'm feeling nostalgic and kind of sorry that I wasn't here over 4th of July weekend. I was on the West Coast where the weather was much better. And when Jeff was trying to get to the reading of the Declaration of Independence, I was watching a Mariners Toronto Blue Jays game in Seattle. So feeling guilty now, though, that I missed all of that. And I certainly see from the changes to the trees, from the remaining branches that are down, and the wires that are down, the tremendous effects of the storm. Was it just one storm, or were there two storms?
It was literally a 20-minute
Wow.
came through and had microburst areas. So did a lot of damage.
Yeah, unbelievable. So I'm sure great work was done. I see there are a lot of trucks still at JCP&L that I don't normally see in that parking lot. So they're working extra time on a lot of matters. I wanted to bring up a different topic and ask for the Township Committee to consider a change in practice to, I think, would improve communication with the residents. So I wanted to mention this. I've mentioned it privately, I think, just to a few of you, and I wanted to bring it up now publicly. And it has to do with the attachment of attachments to resolutions and ordinances in what's posted on the Township website. So a good example came up for this meeting, and that's why I thought to comment today on the sewer agreement with Harding Township. There's a resolution 161-26, which says, in effect, we are going to enter into an agreement which is attached as attachment A. But attachment A is actually not attached to anything that the public can see. So my suggestion is, if you are able to pass the resolution tonight, then I would think you would be able to also attach the meat of the agreement, the attachment to the resolution, on the website in advance of the meeting.
So George, is that example? There may be other examples. I don't know the practice, but for that particular, that was actually a topic in closed session tonight, and the agreement was not ready for approval until we came out of closed session. So it would not have been appropriate to have released that prior to our closed session meeting. There may be other instances where it would be, but I'm just saying that particular one that you're pointing out, we did discuss that agreement in closed session tonight. We came out of closed session approving it.
Will it be posted on the website now?
I don't know, but it's certainly openable. It's certainly
available.
but I don't know if we posted
It hasn't been executed yet.
If you had if you had passed the resolution next month instead of this month after the closed session discussion tonight, would that have affected the business of Morris Township or Harding? In other words, if you had waited until you could post publicly before this meeting, so that someone who was interested could come in and talk to you about it.
There was a timing issue on this agreement.
All right. Well, I would ask that when it's not urgent, that it be a standard practice to attach everything that's relevant to the ordinance or the resolution that's up for consideration. And I would say, please do it before, not just before the meeting, but going into the weekend before the meeting as you publish the draft agenda. That would be wonderful. That's the way to really communicate with residents. I think it would be a big improvement.
Okay, thank you.
If I could just point out one additional thing. After we have our meetings and you go on and look at the agenda, you can click on each of the ordinances and the resolutions to see what we voted on. Okay. And the reason I'm bringing it up is, in the case of resolutions, yes, you're not aware of some of the background details, but for all the ordinance, we introduce them one month and then we actually vote on them and have a public hearing the next month. So on the ordinances, just so everybody's clear, they do have advance notice for a reading of the ordinances prior to the final vote. It's not the same with the resolutions, but at least for the ordinances, that's available.
Well, as long as the ordinance says something, it says everything that's material to what's being passed. My comment is about attachments. So attachment A to this resolution contains what's really important in the resolution. Another good example would be a payment in lieu of taxes agreement. I mean, the last time I remember looking at one of those, it was laid out in an attachment, and the attachment was not available on the website. So it would be better to make those available. That way, people can read them. Not many people will read a payment in lieu of taxes agreement, but you might get a couple of people who do. And especially if it's available on Friday night, the following Wednesday, they might be ready to ask a question. So that's what I recommend. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Steve Laris, 20 Oak Park Drive for 29 years. I'm not going to talk about my leaf blower right now, but I just want to say, we have a natural gas pipeline in the township. We have a pumping station. We have an airport. And this was just a 15 or 20 minute microburst. So when people talk to the utilities, please reiterate to them that these facilities are a major concern, would really hurt a lot of people if there was a problem at any one of these. And then the last thing I want to say is Jeff Grayzel mentioned something that's not just a term. He said, stop the bleed. Stop the bleed is not a term. It is a national organization that trains people to use tourniquets, Israeli bandages, compression gauze for people that are shot or stabbed and really have moments left to live. If the township somehow could get more involved with that organization, maybe have classes at the fire department, you bring these people in, maybe have them at the gyms for kids in high school. These mass shootings are every day. We're seeing these things. And a tourniquet or an Israeli bandage, compression bandage, gauze really saves lives. So, Jeff, maybe you could do something here. It's a great organization. We have line dancing, we have volleyball open to the residents. This is more important. Let's have a couple classes with Stop the Bleed. It's a great organization. And thank you all for your time.
Thank you. Appreciate it. If there's nobody else here in public, I see no hands raised online.
Before we close it out, I do want to correct myself because I went online and all the resolutions and the ordinances for tonight's meeting are also available. If you click the header to the section, I thought it was a post meeting, but it's actually
They're
the
there
day.
now.
Yeah. The meeting, the agendas that are posted
Yep.
online, you can click. It doesn't go to your point, George, about the backup details.
Right.
But everything that we're voting upon is available for public viewing.
Thanks. Seeing no other members, will someone make a motion to close public comment?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The time is now 8:03. Can I have a motion to adjourn the regular session?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The next regular meeting of the Township Committee is on Wednesday, August 19th, 2026 at 7 p.m. for the regular meeting, 5 p.m. for closed in the Municipal Building, 50 Woodland Avenue. Thank you and have a good night.
Thanks for coming out.